parenting has become a blood sport, always feeling guilty for not doing enough. Ooh, does this sound familiar? Not doing enough or doing too much. Well, author James Breakwell is going to help us free us of all of that with his new book, Bare Minimum Parenting, the ultimate guide to not quite ruining your child. He has 4 daughters, a wife, a dog, 2 pigs, and great advice. Say hi to James again. Okay. I am the parent here. He's the uncle. And he often says to me that I do...
You don't do enough for yourself. You got to have some me time once in a while, and you feel guilty if you ever, like, she cuts her vacation short, she cuts her weekend short. I'm like, you just got to Mexico, and now you're getting on a plane to go back because you feel bad?
Yeah, he wants me to do bare minimum parenting, so tell me how to do it.
Well, the key is you just have to remember your kid isn't the center of the universe. They're part of your family, but they're not the entire world. I mean, we've all seen those kids who, when they grow up, they are the center of the universe, and I don't think any of us want that kid. Like, that's not the ideal person to have. But my approach basically to this is there's all these parenting books out there that tell you how to work harder and do more and go above and beyond to raise the perfect child. And I've never seen one of these perfect kids. Like, where are the results? Are kids today with hundreds of parenting books any better than kids were 50 years ago? And I don't think they are. So I set out to write the opposite. I set to write a book to say, rather than what's the most you can do for your kid, what's the least you can do and still have a decent human being come out at the end of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, why do you have 2 pigs?
I love pigs. I was born on a pig farm, and I liked them, and they just never went away. Some people never grow up.
Okay.
And I eventually talked my wife into one and then talked her into another one. So.
Okay, so one's a big pig and one's a baby pig?
They'll both be that size. They'll both be about 60 or 70 pounds.
Right.
Yeah, that's my
What's
daughter.
What's the life expectancy of the pig?
20 years. You got to be all in. That's how I convinced my wife to get number 2. Because we have a dog and a pig now, and the pig is going to outlive the dog. And I was like, well,
wait, the pig doesn't want to eat the dog, though, right?
No.
They get along.
They coexist. They're not really friends. But, you know, if that pig's going to live 20 years, like the dog dies in 5 or 6 years, then we got to get another pig to be a friend, and then that pig's going to live 20 years. Like, why not get 2 pigs at once and they die at the same time? That was my sales pitch, and this worked.
Right.
I'm very persuasive. I might not be able to sell you on a book, but I can sell you on a pig.
You asked why do you have 2 pigs? I thought you were going to say, why do you have 4 kids?
Oh, no. I just didn't know, like, you have 2 pigs. I just didn't know if they live 20 years or until you're really hungry. Like, you're sort of really... Okay, all right, bad joke.
Bad.
All right, let's talk about...
your ears.
Let's talk about the exploding unicorn. This is the name of your blog. Why did you choose that title?
That was, it was just a thing I thought of years ago. I was in high school and bored, and I started doing the logical thing and wrote a fake book of the Bible, and it had exploding unicorns in it, and that image just stuck with me. You know,
a fake book of the Bible?
It was like 2 pages long. Don't give me more credit than it.
On the second day?
Yes, that was pretty much it, but it had a lot of random stuff, and exploding unicorns were in there. Then later I started a blog. I just used that name because I can't think of new ideas. And later I started a Twitter account. I used that same thing, and I just kind of kept it going all the way along because it's an image that sticks with you for better or for worse.
Yeah, and your Twitter account has exploded because people look to you for every day you just put out random parenting tweets or bare minimum
Very
parenting.
random, yes. No. Yeah, so I kind of tweet conversations with my kids, the kind of things we go through, kind of the amalgamation of what our days are like, and people really resonate with that because there's so many people out there who are trying to portray their lives as perfect. No, this is how good things are, and we're kind of the opposite of that. This is kind of the low point. And I get 2 reactions to this. I get parents who say, I feel so much better seeing how you raise your kids, and I get people who say, I'm so glad I didn't have kids after reading your tweets. So I get both sides.
There you
Now,
go.
does your daughter tell your wife that she's getting a triple chin?
No, she does not.
But no, we do. We live in the social media world where we make everything look perfect. Perfect relationships, perfect parenting, and so I think you keeping it very real with parents. And you have some tips. Point out the first one for us.
Well, the first one is parents freak out early on about their babies. Like, am I doing the right thing? Did I get the right brand of stroller? To get the right brand of diapers? All these things. And these are things your kid isn't even going to remember. Like, before the age of 3 or 4, they effectively have amnesia. And you don't have to worry about giving them a bad childhood because their childhood is going to be whatever you tell them it was. You're the one controlling the camera. You control the delete button. If it's a bad day, don't take a picture of that day. You control the narrative.
That's very true.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. Parents, well, let me put my glasses on. You go ahead. You read it.
Parent shamers, they're annoying, but they can't stop you. And this is something we run into. I run into it too. It's hard to ignore the opinions of other parents. It gets to you. It annoys you. It gets under your skin. It can keep you up at night. But the bottom line is they can't stop you. Like, no matter how much they dislike what you're doing, like, unless it's blatantly illegal, I mean, there's no challenge flag or booth review. They can't stop you. If you want to give your kid a candy bar for dinner, that's your choice. And you just do it.
Yeah.
Right. But just so ignore the shamers.
Yeah, the next one every parent needs to listen to, including Val. Val's gotten a lot better.
This is probably the most controversial part of the book. And I'm actually surprised nobody's yelled at me about it yet. But I think everybody needs to take sports a lot less seriously. If they're... I'm going to get kicked off the show now.
When I went to Max's soccer game, I thought Val was on the team. She ran more than the kids. I mean, it was all positive. Positive. Some parents aren't so positive at the games, and
I was just trying to encourage him along the way.
Yes, and get some cardio in.
As long as kids, if they're having fun and they want to be out there, that's awesome. But then we enroll them in extra camps and extracurricular things to make them better. And by the, they start at age 4, and by the time they're 18, it's like their full-time job. And parents, they view it as an investment. They travel across the country. It's their entire weekend. They spend all this money on airfare and hotels. They're like, I'm going to get a scholarship and pay for college. It's like, why don't you just save that money and pay for college? Why are you paying this money and hoping to get it back? I mean, they're not very good odds.
Very true. And this is, I know so many people like who you're describing. All right, give us another tip.
Okay, you're not the deciding factor in your kid's entire life. I mean, we all like to think we're the biggest factor. We make the biggest difference, and we can all say we made our parents made a difference in our lives, but they're not the only thing that made a difference. And I think now we put so much on ourselves. It's kind of narcissism. We think that we alone can ruin or save our child. It's going to be all up to us. But that kid is going to have a whole long life. They've got friends. They've got school. They're going to move out. It's not all up to us, and we need to take that pressure off of ourselves, or we're all going to have panic attacks, and none of these kids are going to grow up.
Yeah, great, great tips.
Advice.
Thank you so much, James. You can get his book, Bare Minimum Parenting, anywhere books are sold.